Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my very next guest is this incredible singer and songwriter named Dano. So I'm going to invite her into the live now to have a chat with Dano about her incredible music that she's made before. So yeah, let's invite Dano in and have a chat with Dano. Hello,
Hey,
Dano.
what's up?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show. It's such a pleasure having you on. To people that don't know who you are, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Sure, sounds good. And hey Chelsea and Ava, what's up, guys? My name is Dano. I am the singer-songwriter from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'm also the host of a YouTube channel called Roll Your Sound, which I started because when I got back into music after a very long hiatus, I realized that I didn't know anything. And so as I was kind of on this journey and I was learning everything, I was like so fascinated by all the things I was finding out. So I was like, every time I learn something, I'm going to make a video about it and share it with everyone else, trying to save them a little bit of work. So yeah, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out, although I've been a little bad and haven't posted a video this week, but I will post one tomorrow.
Well, we'll dive right into the very first question now. So for my very first question, so you have actually created this incredible EP song called I'll Be the One. What was like the whole experience like creating I'll Be the One?
So that is a loaded question because there's a long answer behind that. And so I'll try to give a condensed version, but basically when I got back into songwriting, the reason I got back into songwriting, just to be like completely honest, is I wasn't happy in my life. And, you know, I was married to a wonderful husband. He's my best friend in the world. I have a great job that pays me decently. I have a cute little house. I live right by the beach. Like everything was going right in my life. And I still was like, not happy. And I knew exactly what it was because I always had a passion for making music and I always wanted to do music. And as I got older, I was like, oh, there's no career path in music. So, and also you're not good enough. I didn't think that I could do it. And then, you know, at that time I was like, once you're 25, 26, 27, I'm 32, I'm about to be 32 now. It was just like, now I'm too old, you know. So anyway, I made a promise to myself in the summer of 2019. I said, I have to do this for me. It doesn't matter what comes out of it. It doesn't matter if no one listens to my music. Like I'm a musician in my heart and I need to make music. So it was at that time that I decided to make music. But the issue is, is I had put up so many walls, that I wasn't able to make music because I just wasn't comfortable speaking my truth. And so I was writing some songs and they weren't terrible, but they were not meaningful in any way. They were just like, I'm just gonna say random songs, like a random collection of notes. And I knew that that wasn't the music that I wanted to make. So The One was one of the very first songs I did that was honest. Actually, it was probably like, I'll call it like my second authentic song. And that song is about a commitment that I made to myself that there is an inner voice inside and I'm the only one that can hear it. And it is my job, my responsibility to be the one to listen to that voice and to speak to say what I have to say because no one else can hear it. So that song is very special to me for that reason. And I'm so excited because I'm working towards a 5-song EP. And that will be the very first single that I release, probably in May, if not June. So it's coming up soon.
Awesome. Well, can I just say, when I listened to The One, it was such a phenomenal song. And I have to say, your voice is outstanding. And that's why I was like, I have to do an interview with you. Like, your voice is truly outstanding. And, like, you can tell when you sing, like, your emotions actually shine. And I love your voice. So keep up the amazing work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're really talented. So, yeah.
That means so much. And to be honest, I like have had such a hard time with my voice. And so that means a lot. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So on my very next question, so you have actually created this other incredible song called Girlfriend and it actually won Best Anti-Valentine's Day contest.
It did.
What was that whole experience like getting to win?
Yeah, so first of all, that was a lot of fun. That was the first song I didn't produce that one on myself. I co-produced that, and my fabulous husband was the other co-producer at the time. And I saw that this contest came up, and I was like, you know, it's anti-Valentine's. Everyone is going to be writing sad songs. And I was like, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to make this fun. And, you know, there are a lot of ladies out there who their partners just don't treat them right. So I was like, I'm going to write a fun, silly, lighthearted song about how I'm going to steal their girlfriends, and that they deserve to be treated well. It's like a best friend girlfriend anthem. And I had so much fun writing that. And it just reminded me, like, how important it is to just have fun making music. Like, sometimes I just take it way too seriously. And I was like cracking up writing the lyrics. And so it was such a fun song to sing and produce and record and be a part of it. So I was thrilled that it won. There was a lot of really, really fabulous songs that I was competing against, and some really wonderful artists. And so it was really just exciting to be a part of the contest.
Awesome. So my very next question. So you have actually created this other incredible song called Ready to Love. What was that whole experience like, getting to create Ready to Love? And what's the meaning behind that song?
Sure. So Ready to Love was really special because that was the very first song that I produced entirely on my own. I'm actually going to do a plug for, I took this course called Produce Like a Boss, which was taught by Chris Bradley. If you're a singer-songwriter that doesn't know how to produce, I'm telling you, just knowing a little bit about production is going to change your life, because it was the first time that I could work the equipment and work Logic by myself. So I was able to take what I'm hearing in my head and actually put it out. And so it was so exciting to be actually able to produce that song on my own. And what makes me really happy about that is a good friend of mine is a mixer master engineer. And so I'm very lucky that he mixes and masters my stuff for free. But when I sent it to him, my husband is very musical. And when I sent it to him, he's like, your husband did a great job on the production. And I was like, that was actually me. I did it all, thanks. So anyway, that was like the greatest compliment I ever got in my life. But I wrote that song for a Demos for a Difference project that my friend Brian Erickson was putting together to raise money for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund after George Floyd's murder. And all the proceeds went to that. It was amazing to be a part of. There were over 200 artists that contributed demos to it. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of it. But I wrote that song. It actually, I started writing it about being ready to love myself, and it was like a self-love. But as I started doing it, it kind of like took the lens of my past relationships, and I found it like really fascinating that the way that I felt about myself was how my partner was treating me at the time. And so it's no surprise that those relationships did not work because I was not very kind to myself, and neither were they. But you know what? We moved on. It's better. So anyway, I really, really loved putting together that song.
Awesome. So my very next question. So who inspired you as a person to get into like singing in the first place?
Okay, so that's also a loaded question because there's so many. But I'll say in the really beginning, like early, it was like Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, all those powerhouses. But in my second wind, Halsey all the way. Like, if I ever had the opportunity to meet her, I would just like cry. Like, she has done so much for me. She doesn't even know. And she recently released a book of poems, and her writing and her lyric writing just inspires me every day. And if I could be half as good as her, it would be a huge success. So eventually when my EP comes out, you're going to be like, there's total Halsey vibes on here. And yes, she is a very, very big inspiration to me, both what she does as a person and what she does as a songwriter. So I love her so much.
Awesome. So my very next question. So who, out of like top 3 music artists, who would you want to work with and why?
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously Halsey. But in addition to that, I would love, I think the next, it's hard to pick just a few. I'm going to say Janelle Monáe would definitely be up there. She inspires me so much. She is just like feminine energy, and she's just such a brilliant songwriter. And I love that she uses her voice to really say something powerful and make a statement. And she's so brave and creative. And if I could just work with her, it would honestly change my life. And another person that I would love to work with is Kay Flay. She is a huge, you know what's interesting? She's a big influence to me, but not so much in like songwriting so much, because my writing doesn't sound like her writing, but I just think she's a badass and she inspires me because she's just so genuinely herself and her music kicks ass. And I would love to have the opportunity to work with her just because she's so talented. And you know what? I would love to work with Melanie Martinez as well. She's like, I love her style. It's so original. She's like brave enough to be herself, and you know, she's very unique in her songwriting style. She kind of goes against the grain and does what she wants, and I love that. And so yeah, I would be honored if I could work with any of them. And there's plenty more, but that's just to name a few.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what does music mean to you, like as an artist?
So for me, it's really about using your voice to connect to others. And I didn't realize that at first. And so like before I quit music, I was like, oh, I'm not good enough because I can't sing like Mariah Carey, so I should just quit. But that's not the point of music. And there's a song that like really reminds me of this, and it's an End Beyond the Coast song. But it's really about how you can use music to connect with people. And it's really amazing because even if someone, like no one has the same exact experience in life, like everyone has like their own unique experiences. But somehow with music, you can create a song and you can like compress it to an MP3 file and send it across the world, and someone can open the file and like feel what you're feeling at that moment. And it just, you know, makes them realize they're not alone or whatever it is. Like, you know, they're like, oh my God, did this person write that song for me? Like, that's insane. So I just think that for me, that's the most incredible thing about music. And I hear a lot, because I talk to a lot of independent artists, and they tell me things like, oh, I'm too old, or I can't write in that style because it's not popular, and things like that. And I'm like, you need to write. Like, you have an obligation to write, because if you have the desire in your heart, there is someone that you don't know that needs to hear exactly how you're feeling. Like, you're not the only one. And, you know, I just think that music is so powerful in that way, because it can do that. It's really the only thing that can do that. So
I'm going to your next question. So what have you learned about yourself, like as an artist, like especially during COVID?
So much. I am not the same person that I was pre-COVID, but I think what I learned most about myself is that how important it is for a songwriter and a musician to be able to be myself. And people don't realize this, but, and this is why I hate when like people say negative comments, like musicians and creatives, any creative, whether it's art, poetry, dance, theater, like anything you're doing to be creative, you really need to have like this vulnerability and this authenticity to like show your true self in order for that to connect and reach someone else. And I don't think people realize how hard that is, how unbelievably hard it is to be vulnerable and put down all your walls so that you can do that. And that was the hardest thing for me, because I had so many walls. I didn't even let my friends and family know who I really was. And so as I'm on this path to being a songwriter, I'm like, shit, it's not just my friends and family. Like, I have to be able to be honest with the world. And honestly, the hardest part about that was being honest with myself. And so I'll say this like a million times, but writing my EP, it took me 2 years, because 1.5 of those years was me working on my mindset, and half the year was writing the actual music. And that was by far the hardest part. But I will say, after taking all that time to really work on that and work on being myself and putting my walls down, not only is my music better because of it, I am noticeably a happier person because of it. And I never thought that I could say I'm a happy person. Like, that's a new thing for me in my entire life. And it's all because of facing that fear and putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and telling people how you really feel. And sometimes people shitting on your music and leaving you nasty comments, but that's okay. We're gonna get through it. So yeah, I've learned so much during COVID. And I will say one more thing. I learned that you don't need to physically be with people to be connected. I have made some of the best friendships and the best relationships with other artists entirely through Instagram over the past year during COVID. And like, I actually forget that there are a lot of people that I've met here that I actually have never met in real life. Like, we see each other, we're gonna give each other big hugs. And so yeah, just because we can't be together doesn't mean that we're not connected.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what are the positives and negatives into the whole music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Sure. So I'm just gonna grab my water real quick. I think the biggest positive is that there's so much opportunity for regular lay people like me to make their own music and put it out there in the world. We don't necessarily need the support of labels anymore. Independent artists can be very successful. Obviously, if you want to be a mainstream artist or really big artist, you're going to need a label, but you really don't need it to make music. And I think that that's beautiful because for a lot of us songwriters, it's like something we have to do. Like, we're called to, we're compelled to do this. So just being able to, that's my studio right there. I record right here, and you can't see it, but behind I got my closet. Like, I can do all that right here in my home. And you know, anyone can really do that. So that's just, I think, the most positive about the music industry today is that you can do it yourself. You have the tools more than ever. You have all the resources. We even have social media and marketing. You can literally market yourself. It really is an amazing time for creatives and musicians. The most negative thing, I think, is it is really hard to stand out when there's so much noise and so many other artists. And there's also a lot of negativity on the internet, especially TikTok. TikTok is not kind. So that's probably the worst part of it. But we have an opportunity to change that culture. And it is my hope that it will change and that people will be kinder to each other. And yeah, I mean, that's really the only downside and negative. And to be honest, it's not that huge of a deal because we power through anyway, and we get through. And honestly, it can be frustrating when you work really hard on something and then you get 500 streams and you're like, man, you know, I thought it was gonna hit a lot more. But at the end of the day, as long as you are proud of what you're doing and you're enjoying the process, that's the most important. If you are enjoying the process, then that doesn't matter. So
on to our very last question. So what's next for you, for the rest of 2021, music wise, that you would like to announce on the show?
Sure. So what's next for 2021 is I am going to be releasing a few singles this year. I'm not sure the exact number. It's either going to be 2 or 3. Depending on when I finish them. But that's the most exciting for me. It's really been a personal and emotional journey for me. So it's not so much just about the music. This is really a big personal milestone for myself. So I am so excited. So that's really what's on the pike for the rest of the year and what I'll be working towards. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, would you like to take it off and perform one of your songs?
I would love to.
Awesome.
And since you mentioned this in the beginning, I will do The One, which again, this is an acoustic version. That's the version that you heard. And sorry, I have to sit up on my chair a little, so I'm gonna pull this up. So that's the one that you heard, but eventually, you know, it's going to be a full produced pop song. I had the pleasure of working with a phenomenal producer, Aubrey Whitfield, out of the UK. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to show you guys the finish because the acoustic version just doesn't cut it now that I've heard the real one. But anyway, it's what I got for you today. So we're going to make it work. All right. So this is called The One. collection of unread messages. Sip all day in time, I was playing a case full of plastic. At the center of my mind, breaking in with a bobby pin. Take them out one by one. Can't change what I did back then, but I can change the end. So layer on every word you said, till it takes beneath my skin, but it feels like no one's listening now. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gonna talk to you. Ooh, I'll be the quiet in your bedroom. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Now I realize I can see with the lights on. Your place is safe inside my makeshift basement apartment. Every time I close my eyes, cause I'm dreaming every phrase that you ever explained. You keep me by my side. I'll never let you go, I'll never let you be alone. So I layer on every word you said, till it's soaked beneath my skin, but it feels like no one's listening now. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gonna tap into you. Ooh, I'll be the quiet in your bedroom. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Ooh, now I realize just how I'm gonna get to you. I'll die inside from the highest heights. The thought is worth finding you. I think it's really safe to say I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'll be the one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gonna tap into you. Ooh, I'll be the fight in your bedroom. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Gonna tap into you. I'll be the fight in your bedroom. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. I'll be the one. Ooh.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, can I just say thank you so much again, Dano. It's been such a pleasure having you on. Do you have like any last final thoughts that you'd like to say to people on the show?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun. And for everybody watching, trust yourself, love yourself, be yourself. You got this.